I hope that everyone is having a great day on today, has had a great day. Wishing you well on today. But I want to share something with you real briefly if I can get your attention just for maybe a few minutes or so. Listen, back in 2012, this was revealed to me and my life changed once again. And it was revealed to me like the game of football. And so in the game of football, there are two types of flags. There is a yellow flag and there are red flags. The yellow flags, only the referees are in possession of a yellow flag. And the only time that a yellow flag is thrown by a referee is if a penalty has been caused on the field of play, whether it be holding, which carries 5 yards, whether it be offside, which is 5-yard penalty, sometimes face mask, which is a 15-yard penalty, and so on and so forth. And so when the yellow flag is thrown, the yellow flag is thrown only by a referee that throws the flag that determines whether it comes from, whether the penalty was committed by the offense or the defense. It does not matter. And when it is thrown by the referee. Sometimes it goes against the defense. Sometimes it goes against the offense. It depends on the commitment of the teammate that caused the penalty. And so it sets them back, whether it's the offense or the defense. Whether it's 5 yards, 15 yards, it does not matter. But what matters is the heaviness of the penalty, because a face mask versus a holding is more severe than the holding, because the holding only carries out 5 yards backwards and the face mask sets you back about 15 yards. And so for the red flags are called challenge flags. They're not penalty flags like the yellow flags that the referees hold. The red flags are called challenge flags, and the only ones that holds a challenge flag is each coach, head coach of each team. And the only time that a red flag is thrown by a head coach or one of the head coaches from one of the teams is they are challenging the rule on the field. Say, for instance, you're on offense and you need a yard or 2 yards. And the referee may say, well, they didn't get it. But the coach believes that they did. But they have to use wisdom to throw that red flag, because if they throw that red flag and it does not work on their behalf, then they lose that challenge. So they throw the red flag to challenge the rule on the field. But when they throw the red flag, the answer, or I should say the call, cannot come from the referee. The call comes from the boot. It comes from above. And so it is being reviewed by the one in the boot. And so eventually, at some point in time, it's determined what the call is, if they won the challenge or not. And so eventually they get the call. Sometimes it's right and sometimes it's wrong. And I just want to let you all know about the yellow and the red flags in our lives. They are yellow flags when the Holy Spirit is trying to lead and guide us, to let us know, now this ain't got to go to the challenge flags. This here, I'm warning you and letting you know you're already being set back or going backwards because of the penalty that you've caused. Sometimes it's worse than others. Some things that we do in life is worse than other things that we do. And so the Holy Spirit is trying to throw these yellow flags to let us know, pump your brakes. Pump your brakes. Okay? But then the red flags, when that is thrown, it is the Holy Spirit having to take that challenge flag and give it to God above himself. And he is the one that lets us know whether we got it right or we didn't. And he's the one that gives the call from the booth. He's the only one that can determine if we were right or if we were wrong, according to the rules of his word, according to the rules of what he has said. Although it's not a game of football, but there are red and yellow flags that are happening in our lives all the time. And I thought to just share this with you, that we are supposed to learn from each one. Whether it's the yellow flags that are being thrown from the penalties that we are causing here in life, the things that we're doing that are outside of the will of God, versus the red flags when God has to step in himself, when the Holy Spirit says, you know what? They're not going to obey the yellow flags. They're not going to obey the flags. I don't care how much they've been set back. I don't care what I try to tell them or how I try to minister to them to let them know. So God, I have to give this over to you, and I need you to determine. I need you to make the call from above. I'm just here to encourage you. I'm the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just here to give a message that be mindful of the yellow and the red flags that we are causing in our lives. Be mindful and be careful of those flags that are being thrown, because certainly it changes the game. And sometimes what I've learned, even in football, is that you can have so many penalties racked up on the yellow flags so that it could set you back. And when that team loses the game, they can go back and see where their error was. Once they have lost, they can go back and see the errors of their ways that kept them from being victorious. I'm here to encourage each and every last one of you. Be mindful and take heed to the flags that we cause here on earth, that we cause here on the field of play as we're living our lives. We should live our lives, or desire to live our lives, penalty-free, because Christ paid the price. I just want to encourage you all on today. Have a blessed and victorious day. Be mindful of the flags.